want to get into what your morning
Yeah.
routine looks like, because I think that's important. A lot of people, especially when they get into real estate investing and now they want to do this full time, and then they're like, okay, I got all this time now. What do I do? How do I manage it? What should I do first thing in the morning? Should I get an agenda? Do I need a whiteboard? Like it's so much. How do they manage that? How do you do it?
It's a good question because I hear a lot of people who want the freedom and they want to break free from the 9 to 5, which is great.
Yeah.
It's just once you do that, having too much freedom isn't necessarily good. And I speak from experience. I've not had a job. In fact, I taught for 3 months. I had a job, quit right away. And I over the years of being a contractor and an entrepreneur, an investor, I've gone through the ups and the downs, and I realized that I do need structure. And the best way is to create your own structure. And the best time to do it is in the first thing in the morning. So I'm a big proponent of sharing my morning routine, but also implementing a morning routine for the person. I've got I'm coaching a few people, and I've got an intern as well, and I strongly suggest morning routines. The reason morning routines are so important, it elevates you to a peak. It brings you forward. I mean, it's like during wartime. If you're going to help somebody, the first person you should be helping is yourself. You're no good if you can't help yourself. If
Mhm.
you're sick, you can't help anyone else. So by having a morning routine, you can raise above yourself from the past or from yesterday and keep plugging away and grinding and gritting to get better. And the
Right.
morning routine should feed what you need. So I tell people, feed the body, all right, good food, but also exercise. I think exercise is critical. And during the COVID time, when everything fell apart, people were at home, you need the exercise. Also, what you feed your brain. So I see a lot of people who, the moment they get up, they get to the cell phone and they start Facebook, or they start reading their texts or the emails. Your brain, when you get up, it's adaptable to whatever you tell it. And I'm a firm believer that our thoughts become our reality. So if you can feed your brain good thoughts, it reflects on your reality, and then you can go in with a winning step first thing in the
Right.
morning.
Yeah.
So
So
I take about 2-3 hours just for myself. I'm selfish right in the morning. I don't answer anybody, and it's just for me. And then once I'm done that, the rest of the day could be for others, helping others, understanding them, and giving what I can give best. But I
right.
need that first thing in the morning.
I like that. I think that's great advice. I do the same thing as well too. Is either I'm exercising or I'm feeding my mind with something good. I remember before, like in the beginning, when I first quit, first thing I would do is I'd get right into social media and I'd get like right into some of the negative stuff,
Mm,
and it can start your day on the wrong foot. And so you're right. It's about being selfish. And you know what? I also picked up on what you said as well too, which I think is, and it kind of reminds me of a Jim Rohn quote, where I will look after me for you, and
mm,
you look after
yeah,
you for me,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
And
definitely.
I think, yeah, and I think that stuff is brilliant, and that's a great routine to have in the morning. I 100% agree with that.
I would even track it. I track it.
Yeah.
Without tracking it and measuring it, it's less likely that it's going to happen. And for people listening in, I would suggest it's basically 5 categories. It's the physical, it's mental, emotional, and feeding yourself good stuff. But also another component is the faith, because in a way, as an entrepreneur investor, we're always looking forward, and we're creating something that's not there yet. And in order
Mhm.
to do so, you need to have faith. You need to believe,
Right.
which I
Right.
think is huge. Whatever you believe gets manifested physically. It starts in the brain.
So you're talking not so much religious, but more spiritual, or is it a
Spiritual.
combination of
Oh
both?
yeah, definitely,
So,
definitely. I
so
mean, there's,
spiritual, yeah.
as you get older, and I'm not that old, but I think it's you hit your 40s, you start realizing, okay, I've got this, I've got that. There's something missing. That's what happened to myself. Is that I think I was given too much abundance, too much freedom, and then I was just wasting it away. I was like, what am I doing here? I'm just kind of, I'm trying to satisfy the bar, more alcohol, more sex, and it wasn't satisfying.
Right.
And someone needs to go through it. And I went, it's usually happens in your late 30s when all of a sudden you've got all this abundance, and you're like, it's like an empty bucket here. I need to move on. This is
Yeah.
not satisfying. And what is, there's an element that is cannot be touched, cannot be seen, and there's a spiritual side of things. And I think it's easy to say it, but once you experience it, that's the game changer.
Right. So you got to have some type of purpose. And what I liked as well too, what you're talking about is the manifestation and believing in it, right? I was reading, I'm currently reading The 7 Habits of Highly Successful People.
Yes.
I'm surprised it's taking me this long to get to, but man, what a great book. And one of the things that I really liked and that stuck with me is that it's created twice, once in your mind,
Hmm.
and then second physically. And so
Yes.
it'd be
Yes.
like no different than say the CN Tower. Like that didn't just appear. Somebody had to think about it. Somebody
Hmm.
had to then put it down on paper, and then they had to physically make it, right? But there's a belief to that. There's a manifestation to that as well too, right? Where I think you're right. You can manifest and believe and create what you want in your life. So
And putting
now,
it on paper is so important. I'm still, I mean, I love computers and all, but pen and paper, for some reason, just writing it down over or recreating it exactly what I'm looking for, looking to do, it solidifies it much more than simply reading it or listening to it, or yeah, just
I,
talking about it. You need to put it on
I
paper.
can't agree with you more. I can't agree
Yeah.
with you more.